Hi, Lawrence.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Thanks for coming on to Mod TV today. And our Friday show is where we talk about connection. So the reason we've asked you to join us today is because since interning with Mod, you've been involved in a project over in the Maldives called the Maldives Underwater Initiative. So tell us a little bit about the project. What has it involved?
Yeah, the Maldives Underwater Initiative is a team, and we're a team of 10 marine biologists. We were set up 2 years ago by Six Senses Laamu, and we focus on research, education, and community outreach. So the things that we'll research are all of the different habitats and animals that live around Laamu. And I should probably backtrack. So the Maldives is a chain of islands. It's a country that's a chain of islands southwest of India by about 800 to 1,000 kilometers. And an atoll is a collection of these islands that's in a rough circular shape. So they're all treated differently by their councils, a bit like a state. So our atoll is in the south of the Maldives, and it's called Laamu Atoll. So while we're there, the Maldives Underwater Initiative, or MUI as we call it, will research different habitats and animals. So we have coral reefs, seagrass meadows, mangrove forests here, and all of the different animals. So we get large megafauna such as manta rays, turtles, rays, and sharks. And we also have a lot of smaller fish and different marine ecosystem, lots of reef as well around us.
It sounds so interesting, and a lot of people would know the Maldives from maybe a traveling holiday show or something like that. But it sounds like the ecosystem there is so interesting, and you've got all these examples of wildlife. Is it? Can you pin down the most interesting part of your place at the moment?
Oh, that's a great question. I think of sort of our island. So we're an island resort. So Six Senses Laamu is the resort, and it's contained on its own single island. One of the most interesting things about it is that on Laamu Atoll, we get year-round sightings of manta rays, just a 10-minute boat ride away from the resort. So in other parts of the Maldives, the manta rays will visit different atolls or different sides of the atolls depending on the season with the flow of its food plankton throughout all the different ocean currents and monsoon seasons we have. But here at Laamu, we actually have a manta point, a 10-minute boat ride away. So pretty exciting. I've yet to be able to go visit them. It was only about a month into my moving here that the whole global shutdown happened and the resort closed. So yeah, I managed to get 2 dives in, but not at manta points. I haven't seen a manta ray yet, but I'm very excited to. Yeah.
And you mentioned there that you sort of had a month there with free access, but now the access has sort of been constricted a bit. What were you enjoying the most then in that first month there as you landed?
Yeah, so as good as it's been without guests, we've managed to get a lot of different work done and focus on other things. And it seems a bit more relaxed around the island for some of us, even though we're still working quite hard. It was definitely the guests. So as guest education coordinator, I was helping to organize and run all of the guest activities that we do, which is focused a lot on sort of these marine experiences and a lot of education. So the entire team would pitch in to sort of make a roster and help out. So everyone was doing all of the activities. But we did a daily snorkel of our house reef, and that was just great. So you get a group of 10 or so guests come along, and you run through all the different habitat and sort of marine life that you'll see, and then you guide them on a snorkel of our house reef, where they can see things from the Maldivian anemone fish to green or hawksbill turtles, sometimes rays or sharks as well. So reef sharks, nothing too scary, but they can grow a little bit large. Yeah, and just sort of being able to share that experience with them and guide the guests through a situation where they then sort of fall in love with the marine environment around them and want to spend more time in it and also protect it as well.
Yeah, for sure. And you kind of covered it there. Like maybe the most challenging part at the moment is the lack of guests. But but maybe there's some other challenges for you. Could let us know and how you've sort of dealt with those challenges, and especially not having guests in real life at the moment. How you're still communicating the science.
Yeah. So one of the biggest challenges, we've faced in almost the whole world is the whole closing down and the no guests. And from a team that does focus on research and community outreach, as well as sort of that guest education, to have the community outreach taken away with sort of isolation and lockdowns, and the guest education taken away with all the guests not there, we focused a little bit more on research and sort of trying to figure out what we're meant to do with ourselves. And one of the guest education activities that we ran was actually the inspiration for what we're currently doing now. So that activity, Junior Marine Biology, was started. It's a week-long program where children guests can come along, join with us for about 2 hours for each day over a week. And they'll learn all these different things about the Maldivian marine ecosystem. So we'll go through all the megafauna, how to protect the different habitats, how to share your own science. So going through a little bit of filmmaking and storytelling with children. And then at the end of it, they graduate as junior marine biologists. So they get their own uniform that gets tailor-made, the same as ours. It's in the head picture that I sent in, not this one. But they also get the shirt, which is quite nice. And so that was the inspiration for our new program, which is Junior Marine Biology Online. So we've adapted all of the different activities that we did, added in some new ones, and now we have an online program where we go through, it's 10 weeks long. We're currently filming week 7, so week 6 just came out. And yeah, we explore all the different habitats and animals that are here in the Maldives and in Laamu. So it's lots of fun. It's aimed at 6 to 16-year-olds, but we've even had 81-year-olds join us and send in their work as well, and 4-year-olds. So, we find a lot of the times it's families that are doing this activity together, and that's really heartwarming. We also have all these activities that the children can complete, and then they email them into us. So we spend probably 3 hours a day just like gushing and having our hearts explode because we're reading, this little email from Lucy, who's 6 years old, who really loves the Maldives and manta rays and really wants to come visit here and meet us. So it's really heartwarming. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that sounds really cool as well, because I guess with the pandemic and working in an industry where the tourism and the people are so important, being able to reach out and kind of encourage not just the next generation, but maybe the next generation of tourists to come along and take part in your studies. So is there a lot of online uptake at the moment?
Yeah. So we have about 80 children consistently sending us their work, probably about 150 overall. So we've received maybe 300 to 400 pieces of homework. And they're the only ones who are actually sending it in to us. So our video views have quite a few more views, but the more that we can spread this message out and get more people to join, the better. And yeah, it's one of our the mission of MUI is to actually create local and global marine stewards that will protect the oceans of Laamu and beyond. And so having these children join us and their families, they're helping to actually, see that mission through and create this global stewardship and protection of our oceans. So yeah, we encourage, all the kids to come join and get involved, learn about science, how they can become, marine scientists themselves. Yeah.
And it's such an interesting time as well to get involved with that kind of stuff, because you get all the pictures online about, when the people go, that's when, things like marine life flourish. So yeah, that's a really interesting kind of comparison you'd be seeing at the moment. What's your favorite activity that
Yeah.
maybe warms your heart the most at the moment?
So I just wanted to address the sentence you said before. So yeah, like a lot of marine life or life is returning to certain areas, but here at Laamu, we've actually not seen a difference because sort of the Maldives is fairly remote. We're the only resort on our island, and we have quite a well protected sort of marine area. So we actually haven't noticed marine life returning. It's just sort of always been there. Yeah.
It's kind of life is normal, whether it's people or not.
Yeah. And that's sort of the point of escaping away to, the Maldives or a place like this resort, is that you can just reconnect with yourself and with nature. And Sorry, speaking of nature, that's the local cat. If you can hear them meowing.
Yes, yeah, that's really cute. All right, now that's really awesome. So, what would you say to other people who might be thinking about getting involved with marine biology or science communication?
Yeah, it's go for it, definitely. It's a great, rewarding sort of lifestyle and career pathway. It won't be covered in riches and glory. So don't, a lot of the sorry, I might just
I'm enjoying it. No, I like all the wildlife. I had to actually lock my cat out because he's probably 6 times as loud as that as well. So
sorry about that.
That's okay. It proves that we're live. We're live all the way from the Maldives.
Yeah, so definitely do get involved however you can. There's many different ways that you can get involved with science communication. The path that I took was the more formal sort of studied science, and then studied science communication as a master's degree. But before then, I had gotten involved with writing little 200-word science blogs for my university, and then I sort of transgressed and went into a podcast with a friend. So we talked about science for an hour. And I think at best we probably only had 20 people viewing them, and 2 or 3 of them were just, us watching out, making our friends watch it. But it's just important to sort of practice, get everything out there. And for marine biology as well, especially in Australia, we have some fantastic institutions for that. So we do a lot of partnership research here at MUI with James Cook University, as well as Deakin University as well. So for Australia, you've got the Great Barrier Reef, you've got all these fantastic universities offering world-class marine courses. So definitely get involved with that. If you can't, make that move or commit to it, or you're not ready to, or not the right age, definitely get involved however you can. There's heaps of citizen scientist projects that you can get involved with, just to sort of teach you some skills. You can monitor your own local reef, you can do studies on seagrass, on mangroves, almost anything. And any help, any citizen science is welcome.
that sounds so good. It sounds like such an interesting topic, and so it does seem glamorous, but without the money. I don't know. Like you said, you won't get riches, but I think, it looks like so much more than riches that you gain from it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a trade-off, especially when you're on resort. Like, it always depends on the resort, but normally, you've got almost nothing to pay for, just apart from extra chocolate if you want that. So like accommodation, food. You don't drive a car anymore. There's very little things to actually spend your money on. So the amount of money that you get, you can save up. But the trade-off is that you have 30-degree weather and 29-degree water almost all year round. Some of the most lively and abundant marine ecosystems as well, and fantastic people. You get a lot of a mix of like locals as well as international expats who will come in as well. So you get these great sort of work community cultures.
Yeah, and we do have someone in the chat asking. Speaking of local flora and fauna, what's the difference between a local cat and a pet cat?
Oh, so that's a great question. I think I misspoke. I should have said pet cat. Yeah, I'm thankfully in the owner's house. So if you're listening, thank you very much, Martine, the general manager. And that's her cat, who she actually brought from another country. I've forgotten where from. I think maybe the Seychelles she was in before. So it's international jet-setting cat. Yeah, but in the Maldives, I think there's only a few native mammals, like some shrews, and maybe even the mice and rats were introduced a few hundred years ago. So there aren't local native cats. Yeah.
Just the international cats of mystery.
Yeah.
And maybe like I know you sort of only had a month there again, to have those experiences with guests, but you've still been making your way around a little bit during this time. Is that right? And maybe have there been any special or rare experiences over the last few months?
So sorry, could you clarify, like moving around a bit?
Oh yeah, I know. Have you still been out of the how much of the nature have you been able to access over the last couple of months, or have you been totally indoors?
Mm, um, so so the Maldives was fairly unaffected for a little while. So there were resorts that were closed, but travel could still happen, and then resort islands couldn't travel to other local islands. And now that ban's still in place, that no island can travel in between, because there was a steady spike a few weeks ago. So we have full access to our island, which is only about 2 kilometers around. So, if you're riding a bike around it, you're done in 5-10 minutes, depending how leisurely you go. But there's plenty to see. We have this lush jungle around us, and then you've got seagrass meadows and coral reefs, and you can walk out to the jetties and watch the sunrise, and you can get away, but we're still stuck on the island. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I heard something about some turtle hatchlings though.
Yes, yes, yes. So we're lucky enough here at Six Senses Laamu to have nesting green turtles. So when it's nesting season, which is normally May till about October, but this year we had one at the end of February, and the year before we had a turtle nest at the end of December. So it's almost been a full year long season. So they'll come on to the beach, they'll dig a nest, they'll lay their eggs, and then about 50 to 70 days they'll hatch. And so we've at the moment got, I think, 12 nests laid. And the first one, which was laid in the end of February, that actually hatched a few weeks ago. And so we were lucky enough to be able to bring everyone with cameras and red lights over, because they hatch at the close to the middle of the night. So I think this was about 10 p.m. And we were actually able to witness this hatching of all of the green sea turtles. So that's very special. We have a video of that on our social media, and I think there's a link to that Mod can provide. So it's very exciting. Definitely watch it if you can. And it was great to be part of that experience of seeing the green turtles as they venture off into the ocean, where they'll disappear for about 15 to 20 years until they become juveniles. So yeah, really special moment. Hopefully we'll get a few more with all those other nests. So fingers crossed for that.
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, it was. I saw part of the video, and it's great to watch, and nice at this time just to see this kind of birth and release of all these animals. Kind of running to the next stage of their life. It was amazing.
Yeah.
What's next for you? What are you looking forward to over the next few months?
Oh, so I think finishing up junior marine biology. We've only got about 3 more episodes to film. It's so much fun to do, and I'd love to continue doing it or a project similar to it, but it's a lot of work and something that we started doing probably without realizing how much work it would be until it was too late to stop. Uh, so we're all working really hard, looking forward to the end of that, which will be, I think, mid-June. Um, and then sort of looking forward to developing more of the guest program. So now we have time to sit back, reflect, think about how we used to do it, how we're going to have to do it now with sort of all these new hygiene practices and distancing that will have to be implemented, around the world, at least for a little while. So having a chance to reflect on all the programs, doing the Junior Marine Biology live in person program and changing that so it's something new and exciting, as well as working on all of the local community work that we've had to put on hold with all the travel and the isolation. So figuring out how we can better engage sort of all these different guests and local communities and really give back the most that we can and be the most effective sort of team of researchers and conservationists that we can be.
For sure. It sounds like you're going to be busy then.
Yeah, very busy. I've been a little bit jealous of some people. Maybe not the situation, but maybe the lifestyle that some have been forced into, where they might be at home for a long period of time and can just wear their pajamas and order takeout pizza and focus on those creative skills or other things like that. Whereas here we've been very much stuck at work. It's a beautiful work, lovely to be stuck at, but it'd be a bit like being stuck in your office for 2-3 months.
Yeah, I don't know how we got Mod being stuck in the galleries for all that time, but it's kind of nice to be stuck digitally at work as well. But yeah, my house isn't quite as pretty as the Maldives, so I'm a little bit envious. So if people are interested in everything that you're doing at the moment, where is the best place that they can go to see everything online?
Mm. So we're active on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook is probably where we post most of our things, but Instagram is where you can go and check out our stories for all the fun, quirky, behind-the-scenes things that we might be doing or silly everyday life. And we're just starting today to celebrate. It's International Biodiversity Day, so we'll be sharing some of the research that we've done. We've actually compiled our sort of megafauna biodiversity report for 2019. So we'll be showcasing that through a bunch of really fun, what we hope is fun, social media posts, so you can learn not only about the animal themselves, but also about the sort of relevance to our island and our atoll.
Yeah, great. And is it the manta ray, or are there other animals as well being featured?
Yeah. So we have 10 animals being featured. So the manta ray is one of them. We have green and hawksbill turtles, grey reef, white tip reef, and black tip reef sharks, as well as pink whip rays and spotted eagle rays as well. So yeah, and cowtail rays. There we go. Might have missed one.
I didn't even know that there was that many type of rays, so I obviously need to jump across to your Facebook because that sounds really interesting.
And neither did I when I first came here. Like, I came as a science communicator with someone who scuba dived maybe 30 times and loved the ocean, but I'd never done marine biology myself. So I think that was a bit of a shock to the team. They thought I was a bit more qualified in marine science than I was, but I learned quickly. So yeah, it's been great learning about it all and finding all the different species of things. Yeah.
And sometimes it's an interesting perspective to come at it, with a certain level of understanding, but still a lot of newness. I'm sure you would have been able to share that kind of instant joy that you get when you find something new. Would have been able to hand that over to the participants as well.
Yeah, definitely. And it's something I always try to do, is sort of show how excited I am about something and think about if other people saw it for the first time, what they would think. And yeah, that's why it's also great to see the guests and be interacting with them, because it's the first time that some of them have seen some of these animals. So you sort of, the enthusiasm is contagious, pardon the use of that word.
Yeah, for sure. Now, we do have a little question from the chat. Someone's wondering, what is the coolest Maldives animal?
It's a great question. A lot of people enjoy sort of the huge megafauna, so the manta rays. The reef manta rays in Laamu, they grow to about 3.5 meters. The oceanic manta rays in the Maldives or in the world can grow up to 8 meters. So that's huge. But then you have the whale sharks as well, which are sort of even larger and sort of equally as peaceful. For more regular sightings of those, you'd have to head up to the north, so sort of that Bar Atoll area where they'll come in different seasons. I think for me, though, I absolutely love the octopus. They're fantastic. But I think more recently I've been really excited about seeing sea cucumbers. Now, they're not that rare here. They're quite common and all over the place, but they're just some of the funkiest, weirdest animals that are around. And I was lucky enough a few months ago to actually see one spawning, which looks almost exactly how you could imagine it, where there's a long sort of big brown cucumber that then stands upright and then releases its eggs and sperm into the water. So, me being the mature adult I am, I didn't giggle once at all.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, wow. Okay, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Is that a rare sighting though, to see kind of the spawning of the sea cucumber?
Not as rare as some things. I believe they do it year round, and they often do it as pairs. Whereas things like different coral species will only spawn once a single night in a whole year, and that's sort of a huge mass spawning event. And that's actually when I found the cucumber spawning, is when we were trying to find the coral spawning. But unfortunately for this cucumber, it was just all alone. So practicing some social distancing.
The loneliest sea cucumber in the Maldives.
Yeah.
And maybe just before we finish up, just selfishly for me, and I didn't check this with you. Is there any way you can spin the camera and we can see a little bit of the outside of the Maldives, or is that not possible?
Oh yeah, you could see a bit of the jungle. We're sort
Oh
of
yeah,
in where all the houses are. I'll take you on a little journey.
yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, nice. It's kind of lush and tropical.
Yeah, so that's what outside looks like. Quite tropical, quite lush. Everything's sand, and it's a barefoot resort, so I've got some
Ah,
great calluses.
yes.
That looks so
Oh,
pretty.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for that, Lawrence. Thanks for joining us. Um, and yeah, we will pop up all those links as well, so people can get in touch and follow what you're doing. And good luck to you for the near future.
Great, thank you very much. It was fantastic to come along and chat to all of you.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thank you very
Lawrence.
much. Cheers.
Bye.